These unique swords are not only instruments of war but also works of art and evidence of the skills and traditions of peoples. Today we will dive into history to discover for ourselves unusual and amazing examples of ancient weapons, from the newest to the oldest. Watch this video until the end. Hi friend, you are on the KirTop channel. Indian pata, age 500 years old. A pata or sword bracelet is an amazing type of weapon that came to us from the Middle Ages and served not only as a protection for the warrior's hand, but was also a dangerous attack tool. Pata has a unique structure. A long, straight blade is connected to a tight-fitting bracelet. This allowed the warrior to make powerful and accurate blows, as well as block enemy blows using metal protection on his hand. Pat's special feature is its complex design. The blade of the sword was often decorated with engravings and inlays, and the handle and bracelet could be made of expensive metals and stones. Pata, despite its unusual and complex nature, was very popular among Indian warriors, especially the cavalry. It served not only as a tool for battles, but also as a symbol of the status, power, and skill of its owner. This rare and unique ancient Indian relic is a shining testament to the art and craftsmanship of ancient blacksmiths and gunsmiths. Aztec Makule, age 600 years. The Aztec Makule is not just a weapon, it is a symbol of the greatness and power of the Aztec Empire. A combination of ruthless efficiency and sacred meaning. It is shaped like a wooden sword, but its peculiarity is that the blade is made from sharp fragments of obsidian, a volcanic glass that the Aztecs used along with metals. Makule was not just a military weapon, but also a spiritual attribute. According to legend, the god of war and the sun Huitzilopochtli himself used this sword. It could cut a man in half with one blow, and its amazing cutting ability was so great that it was believed that it could cut off the head of a horse with one movement. Despite its effectiveness, the Makule also had symbolic meaning. In Aztec culture, wars were often fought not to destroy the enemy, but to capture prisoners, who were then sacrificed to the gods. Thus, this sword became an instrument connecting the earthly and the divine, war and religion. Making Makule was a complex process. To create the blade, it was necessary to select the sharpest and highest quality fragments of obsidian. They were then inserted into a wooden base and secured with natural resins. Japanese katana, age 800 years old. When we hear the word katana, an image of a majestic samurai instantly appears before our eyes, ready to defend the honor and dignity of his master. But a katana is not just a sword. This is the history of Japan, a reflection of its spirit, culture, and philosophy. Each katana is born in fire and hammers. The process of creating it is a meditative art that requires incredible focus, skill, and patience. Steel forging, metal lamination, precise heat treatment, each stage gives the blade its unique qualities: sharpness, strength, and flexibility. The blade of the katana is curved, which allows the warrior to deliver powerful slashing blows. The effectiveness of this sword is so great that it has become a legend not only in Japan but also abroad. However, despite its combat power, the katana also serves as a spiritual weapon. Samurai believe that the soul of a warrior is in his sword. A katana is not just a bladed weapon. This is art, culture, spirituality. For centuries, master blacksmiths have perfected their craft, passing the secrets from generation to generation. Each katana has its own history, its own battle scars, its own soul. Ulfbert swords, age 1,000 years. Among the many archaeological finds associated with the Vikings, the swords of Ulfbert occupy a special place. These swords, made around the 9th to 10th centuries, are famous for their unique strength and quality of steel, sometimes surpassing even some modern examples. Ulfbert is not just a name, this is a quality brand. This is the designation that was forged on the blade of most of these swords. But who or what is behind this name is still a matter of debate. Some researchers believe that Ulfbert is the name of a craftsman or forge. Others believe that it is a kind of brand that guarantees the highest standard of quality. The secret of these swords lies not only in their origin. The methods used to make them are also amazing. The steel used in Ulfbert's swords was purified with incredible precision, which in turn made them incredibly strong and flexible at the same time. The secret of forging these swords still remains unrevealed. Some experts argue that the manufacturing process may have used techniques that were forgotten and only recovered several centuries later. These swords were not just weapons, they were a symbol of status, power, and wealth. Owning Ulfbert's sword was a sign of high status in Viking society. Philippine Dagger Kris. Age: 1500 years. The Philippine kris is not just a bladed weapon, it is a true icon of Asian weaponry with a rich and mystical history. The peculiarity of this dagger lies in its blade. Wavy and curved lines not only give it a unique look, but also indicate the complexity of the forging technique. This dagger originally appeared in the Malay archipelago region and was widely distributed among the Muslim peoples of Southeast Asia. In the Philippines, the kris became a symbol of power and spirituality, and its owner was often considered protected from evil spirits. The blade of the kris has a special meaning. It is believed that the number of waves on the blade indicates the spiritual strength of the wearer. Each wave, or lock, represents a separate element or spirit. This feature makes each kris unique. It is also said that forging a kris requires a special ritual. The craftsman creating such a weapon had to observe strict fasting and prayer to ensure his work received maximum protection and power. Often crafted from different types of metal, the blade demonstrates the art of forging and folding the metal, giving each kris a unique character. Roman Gladius. Age: 2,000 years. Gladius is a symbol of the power and prosperity of the ancient Roman Empire. Small but deadly effective, the gladius was the primary bladed weapon of Rome's legionaries as they fought in conquests that stretched from the desert sands of Africa to the cold mountains of Britain. The straight double-edged sword, 60 to 80 centimeters long, was ideally suited for close combat. The gladius was designed to thrust rather than cut, allowing Roman soldiers to inflict fatal wounds on opponents even while wearing armor. As the Roman Empire grew and evolved, so did the gladius. From earlier models such as the Gladius Hispaniensis, which is believed to have been borrowed from the Iberian tribes, to more recent versions such as the Gladius Pompeii. The finds of these swords are real historical relics that tell us about the greatness of the Roman military machine. Each gladius has its own story, stories of battles, heroism, victories, and defeats. However, the gladius is not only a weapon, it is also an important cultural symbol, indicating the role of Rome in the formation of Western civilization. The swords, which were found on fallen legionnaires or in temples as religious offerings, reflect the spirit of that era, an era of heroes, intrigue, and great conquests. Celtic Sword. Age: 2,000 years. When it comes to Celtic culture, many imagine ancient myths, druids, and mysterious stone circles. However, the Celts were also masters of forging, and their swords bear witness to this skill. Long, with a curved handle and a decorative guard, the Celtic sword was an art and a weapon at the same time. These swords not only served for combat, but also played the role of symbols of social status and religious purpose. Found from the British Isles to Germany, Celtic swords are often accompanied by finds of ornate scabbards, which speaks to the importance the Celts attached to their weapons. Inlaid with gold and silver and adorned with intricate patterns, these swords were more than just tools of war. They were symbols of power. But what makes the Celtic sword so unique is its forging. The Celts used methods of hardening and folding metal, which made their weapons remarkably durable for the time. Many archaeological finds show that even after 2,000 years, swords have retained their sharpness. Greek Xiphus. Age: 2,400 years. When you mention ancient Greece, memories come alive thanks to the great philosophers, the Olympic Games, and mythical gods. However, among the symbols of this great civilization is the Greek short sword, Xiphus. With a curved blade about 60 centimeters long, the Xiphus was one of the weapons of choice for the Greek hoplite infantrymen. This sword was designed for quick slashing and thrusting techniques in the close ranks of the phalanx. Its shape was inspired by the swords of the Eastern peoples that Greece encountered during its military campaigns. Archaeological finds of Xiphus are often accompanied by beautiful scabbards decorated with images of gods, heroes, and scenes from everyday life. In the hands of an experienced warrior, this sword became a deadly weapon. In battles such as Marathon or Thermopylae, the Xiphus proved effective in allowing the Greeks to achieve victory over numerically superior opponents. Today, these ancient swords are valuable exhibits in museums as well as objects of interest for collectors and researchers. Bronze swords from China. Age: 2,500 years. When it comes to ancient weapons, China, as one of the oldest civilizations in the world, offers us amazing examples of craftsmanship. Among them, bronze swords occupy a special place, which testify to the splendor and complexity of ancient Chinese culture. Bronze Age in China, which began around the 21st century BC, brought innovations to metalworking, which gave impetus to the creation of unique weapons. These swords were often decorated with intricate engravings reflecting religious, astronomical, and natural motifs. One of the most famous bronze swords was found in the tomb of Marquis Yi of Xing, dating back to 433 BC. This sword, although it spent more than 2,000 years in the ground, amazed scientists with its excellent condition. The blade was still sharp, and there were practically no traces of corrosion on its surface. This quality testifies to the high level of skill of Chinese blacksmiths and the secrets they used to protect the metal from oxidation. Assyrian Arrows. Age 3,000 years. The Assyrian Empire, centered in modern-day Iraq, dominated the Middle East for centuries. Its military power was legendary, and arrows held a special place in its arsenal. These arrows were unusually strong and long, providing great penetrating power. Made of wood with iron or bronze tips, they could pierce even thick enemy shields. In the hands of an experienced archer, they became deadly weapons. In Assyria, the art of archery was believed to be a divine gift. Archers held a high position in the army and were often depicted on reliefs and steles demonstrating their exploits. Assyrian arrows not only served as effective military weapons, but also became a symbol of the power and dominance of the Assyrian Empire in the ancient world. Bone spears from Germany. Age 400,000 years. Among the archaeological treasures found in Germany, one of the most amazing and mysterious are sharpened bone spears. These unique ancient weapons represent important evidence of the life and skills of the primitive people of Europe. Discovered in the Schoningen area in the 1990s, these bone spears are estimated to be 400,000 years old and are among the oldest known examples of hunting weapons. Their creators, the ancestors of modern man, lived in an era when giant mammals ruled Europe. These spears were not just primitive weapons. They demonstrate amazing skill and understanding of aerodynamics. Straight and smooth, with a well-honed tip, they were ideal for hunting large animals. These weapons were also surprisingly durable and resistant, indicating the ancient people's deep knowledge of bone processing. The fact that these spears were made of bone rather than stone or wood speaks to the importance of the material. Bone is a strong and elastic material that can retain its shape even under severe impact. This makes bone spears an ideal weapon for hunting fast and powerful animals such as deer or even mammoths. Stone knives from Kenya. Age more than 500,000 years. On the vast plains of East Africa, deep in the Kenyan land, archaeologists have encountered ancient treasures that have revolutionized our understanding of early human history. These were stone knives, carefully shaped and sharpened. They became evidence of the amazing skill and intelligence of our ancestors. Their approximate age is 1.76 million years. Their shape and structure indicate that they were used for prey cutting and processing materials. The origins of these knives are linked to a culture known as the Makulean, which flourished during the time of Homo erectus. The incredible skill with which these stone tools were created shows that the human brain underwent significant development at this time, allowing for the creation of more complex and effective tools. Each knife was unique and reflected the specific skills and preferences of its creator. From the shape and size of the blade to the sharpening methods, every aspect of these tools has been carefully considered. While the past cannot return, it will always live on in our memories and historical findings. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumb up, subscribe to the channel, and leave your kind comment. Thanks for your views. Bye, everyone.